Well, hello, everybody. If you had any withdrawals from the absence of three up, three down, we were off today for Easter weekend. We've got a little something cooked up here for you. Got three clips to share from you to celebrate opening day from yesterday. So the three of us, me, Seth, and DJ, all picked out one clip each, and we're going to go ahead and share them with you to go ahead and recap then and celebrate opening day and give you a little bit of an appetizer here since we didn't have three up, three down. So Seth's going to take us through the first one. It is the home run play that many of you guys probably saw yesterday. So Seth, I'll go ahead and share my screen. And then it is all yours, my man.
So this first one we got Jones up is not a complex play by any means, but it is a unusual, fun little play that I thoroughly enjoyed. So if we let it roll, what you're going to see is Bellinger hits a home run, and as the left fielder goes to make the catch on top of the wall, he loses it, ends up going over the fence. So we got a home run by rule. But what you're going to see is Justin Turner thinks that the ball has been caught. So he's going to turn around and start hightailing it back to first base, thinking he's got to tag up, which he passes second base legally. So that's a good part. But Bellinger knows he dropped it. So right here you see Justin Turner not even worrying about what Bellinger's doing because he thinks Bellinger's out. So Bellinger's yelling at him to turn around and go. Turner ends up here on first base, and essentially what we have here is Bellinger out on passing Justin Turner. And it's important to note that as long as your succeeding runner ends up in front of your preceding runner, you're going to get an out for passing on the base paths. Even though technically Bellinger didn't really pass him, it was Justin Turner passing him in reverse, we're still going to get the out. So we got an RBI single here, and Justin Turner is actually going to score, but Bellinger is going to be out. So we got a base clearing RBI single.
Put that one in the scorebooks. Definitely an interesting one. I think this was like in the third inning too, so it didn't take too long to get complicated here on opening day.
So, yeah. Is that a dead ball situation?
Say that again, DJ.
Is that on a runner passing? Is that a time automatically? How do you handle that as far as the mechanics go, Seth?
So in this situation, it's going to be a dead ball because we have a home run. Right. But if the ball is still alive and in play, I do believe you're just going to declare that runner out and just say, hey, he's out and we're playing on. Yep. So had this not been a home run, then yeah, we still got a live ball. So, and then Justin Turner is still going to be on first base because that's where he ended up if the ball stayed in the yard, unless he tried to advance. But Bellinger's out. And they had a good laugh about this in the dugout afterwards.
All right. Well, that's the home run. That's our first play. DJ's got the next one. The next two that we got lined up are all wedge plays. So get to talk a little bit about wedge, which is one of our main focal points here. The first one's a wedge at third base. Gabe Morales is the third base umpire here. DJ, I'll let you go ahead and take it away.
They're absolutely wedge. My personal favorite. Let's see. Kind of a scenario here. It's going to be probably an error in base running, honestly, on none other than Bryce Harper, which I'm totally fine with. We see here we got the play. It's incredibly close. I don't know if it's going to actually show as close. I would encourage you to try and look this up, but this is an incredibly close play. There's a tag right there. You're going to be able to see right coming up. Like right there, it's on that knee, ankle calf area, just moments before Bryce Harper's left hand touches the third base there. Some key things, some key takeaways, as we're always talking about the wedge. Obviously, Gabe Morales, their third base umpire, staying close to the fielder, following the fielder, not worried about the fair foul line as a line of boundary. He does eventually cross that line. He's staying in the window. Personally, probably could have been another step to his right, maybe another step closer, but he's there and I'm here. So we're going to go with what he did, and ultimately he did get the call right. But doing a really, really good job. I love this angle right here. Really shows quiet steps. And he's probably a little bit more active, but quiet steps instead of getting to that set position. He's continuously moving with the play, trying to find the window there. reacting with the fielder, getting down and in, and keeping his head motion nice, steady, secure all the way through, even though his lower body. That's what we're talking about, quiet steps. And some other key takeaways where we talk, focal points for the 2021 season. We're talking about, the wedge and continuing to adapt and get better there. But chest to ball is a huge piece there. He's drifted down. His initial starting position is probably up the line. He's ready for a play at all times. So he's come down to behind the third base bag. If we're being, not as active and not as ready to go in the play, there's a chance that we're still back. This is routine. We're not going to have anything there. And he is going down to the bag. He's ready for anything. Obviously, chest to ball, and then proper use of eyes. The tag is applied. He's looking for the ball, and then he bangs Bryce out. So this does eventually go to replay, and they came back with a correct and confirmed call. So you'll be able to see it right there. Tag through, coming in, getting set, taking a look, and then getting them out. And I'm not a Bryce Harper fan, so big time out. I'm cool with that. So all of the stuff that we've talked about with the wedge theory and everything going with those things. So keep that in mind as we go into the 2021 season, shaking off the rust one pitch at a time.
Yeah, I think this is a really good point that DJ made of like just applying all three phases, I guess you could say, of the wedge. Chest to ball being a big one, obviously one of our focal points. So too is that wedge progression. He starts still in that 5 to 7 feet range from the fielder. So that's phase number one. Adjustment number two is adjust with the fielder. You'll see here the third baseman comes into fair territory, which, as DJ mentioned, is going to allow Gabe, the umpire, to come into fair territory as well. So that's where that adjustment fielder goes. We're going to go with the fielder. That's phase number two. So phase number one, stay close, 5 to 7 feet from the fielder receiving the throw. Step number two then is to go with the fielder and then use those quiet steps DJ spent a lot of time talking about. We've talked about using the arc. Think about a circle around the base. It's exactly what Gabe is doing here in his steps, and you can kind of see him step it out through there. So it's a great little breakdown of this mechanic here. And splitting hairs, and ultimately, as DJ said, it did go to replay and then was upheld. So great look there at those three wedge fundamentals.
Yeah, this play's so incredibly close that the only place that you're going to see that Bryce Harper is out is in the wedge. That's how close the play was. Like, you can't see it from anywhere else. So fantastic job.
Yeah, when Stu sent me the video originally, that camera that we just saw, that camera angle, I thought he got it wrong. I was expecting him to save him. So the camera from the center field that shows that kind of reverse angle of the wedge, because the wedge, we've got a circle, there's a wedge on two different sides. That's where you see the glove actually touch the calf. That one from behind home plate, you're straight lined on. This angle right here, I'm not buying that there's a tag there at all. But on this angle, and obviously on Gabe's angle as well, he's seeing that tag, and it just goes to show continuously move and always be ready. And then following those three keys, staying close, following the fielder, staying in the window.
There's good controlled movements, DJs. That's a great point there about quiet steps. Just continuing to move and fight for the best look possible between the runner and the tag. Good work. Last clip for us is another wedge clip. It is one at the plate. It was a walk-off with the Brewers, so we'll see what exactly happens here in just a second. So really quick developing play, and again, before we get set in here, just remember these three phases that we take a look at in wedge progression. Number one, stay close, 5 to 7 feet from the fielder receiving the throw. Step number two is to follow the fielder, okay? And then step number three is to stay in the window. And what we mean by that window is that space that we call the wedge. That space is the area between the runner and the fielder at the time the tag's being applied. So those are the three fundamentals we want to look at. Now, Gabe's play was an infield hit kind of too, so it was really quick and on top of him. This one's an infield hit right behind the pitcher too. So Kerwin Danley's our plate umpire, crew chief here, who has a really challenging play, and he does some things exceptionally well in order to get the best look he can possibly get at on this one. So it's a little chopper over the mound. Infielder comes in, gets it out of his glove super fast, and then we have a play at the plate. So I think when I did my stopwatch, Kerwin Danley had less than 3 seconds from the crack of the bat to the time the ball was on him to get his mask off and get into position. So he's done a phenomenal job here. So let's take a look here. And again, those 3 steps is what he's able to execute really, really fast in those 3 seconds. So here we go. Ball's going to be put in play. See a chopper. and then the ball is going to come out right away. Now, the biggest thing that I think is important for us to realize here in this angle is that there is no negative steps that our plate umpire, Kerwin Danley, takes. He literally comes out of his stance and begins to step forward. And as you see, he is already then, number one, started close. So he's 5 to 7 feet, as we see here. Secondly, he is going to then adjust with the fielder. So as this catcher starts to go out in front of the plate, Kerwin Danley starts to move forward a little bit more as well, and then starts to adjust to his plate side hip, which then puts him kind of a little bit more so third baseline extended. Now, boom, this plays right on top of him. See it develop. Kerwin Danley gets to a spot where he's able to stay in the window as he's trying to get his mask off inside of that less than 3-second opportunity. And he's got probably the best look he can possibly get here within that short time span. And I think that's really, really key with balls that don't leave the infield. No negative steps. Take your mask off right from your stance. Step up and adjust with the fielder. Get on that plate side hip. And just as we see Kerwin Danley do here, execute that one pretty well. So I'll let the clip roll again here. Again, show it to you in real time, real fast. Right, so about less than 3 seconds to get his mask off, gets all those fundamentals down, and does a really, really good job. Here's another look down the third base line to make sure that we can kind of see him in the wedge. Again, he executes all 3 of those steps here, and as this play develops, you'll see here, he continuously moves, as we saw Gabe Morales did, controlled movements to find the best look possible throughout the duration of the play. And you can see he stays in the window. At this point, his head and eyes are between the fielder's plate side hip and the runner. He is not straight lined on this one. Fantastic job in a very, very small window of time here for him to go ahead and get this one done. Let this one roll in case DJ, you and Seth have anything else to add.
Yeah, the only thing I was going to add, and I just remember this slide and it's really stuck out to me. And this particular clip, just with the high angle and kind of seeing everything. If you haven't seen, we have in our 3 up 3 down archive on YouTube. We covered a wedge at the plate with umpire Brian DeBrouwer, and he shows a slide in his presentation to us showing how there's a distance from home plate and an arrow to the right, simplifying a step to the right from the back of the dirt circle, and then just from the back of the area of the plate, a same size arrow with the distance to the right. And that was a huge eye-opening example of the importance of angle gain, essentially, and the difference between neutral or positive steps versus negative steps. And I think, pretend this play is out in the right field and Kerwin's preparing for a play at the plate. Had he taken negative steps back and then try and shift right, that angle lost by just having steps backwards. So I think that this angle really showcases the importance of staying close, 5 to 7 feet or even closer if you're comfortable with that, and then using those quiet steps and just being able to shuffle right and making sure that we're not taking any negative steps. I really like that angle, and like I said, if you're interested in finding that, that's in our archive on the YouTube page. Just search Stu's name, and it's the one with covering the wedge at the plate with Brian DeBrouwer.
DJ, that point, DJ, that point that you were making about being closer, you're basically saying that by being closer in a one-step adjustment, which is all we had time for here, in a one-step adjustment, you get greater viewing angle than you would if you were further back. Is that correct? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's simple. It's simple geometry at that point. The closer you are to something, if I take, a 4-foot stride to my right, I'm going to have that much viewing angle right down in front of me, versus if I'm 10 feet away and I take that same 4-foot stride, the viewing angle is going to be noticeably, incredibly narrower to try and make a call for something, that close. So, like I said, that's that video and that slide has always stuck true and something that I've remembered as far as the importance of coming up out of the stance, specifically behind the plate, coming up out of the stance and planting, if anything, taking steps further forward and trying to erase that habit of negative steps backwards.
For me, it super highlights the importance of situational awareness. So as a home plate umpire, we've got to know that, okay, we got runners on first and third, bottom of the 10th here with no outs. I know this ball's coming home. I know it. So as soon as I see that ground ball hit, I'm already moving to get in position because I know I'm going to have a play. It's totally different if you have 2 outs in this situation. And with 2 outs in this situation, you've got to read the play. Is it going to come to me or is it going to go to first? More than likely, it's going to go to first. But the way that the second baseman had to play this ball, you never know. So just super important to just realize what situation you're in and, sort of playing the odds on, where the ball is going. And this is a perfect example of, as a plate umpire, knowing that ball is going to come here because if this run scores, the game's over. So they have to come here.
Yeah, that goes back even more to like the focal point number one that we've got out there for us this year in our 2021 focal points is competing on every pitch and situational awareness and thinking about that. Seth, that's a great point. So, but at the end of the day, 3 basic fundamental steps of the wedge here, and Kerwin Danley does them perfectly in less than 3 seconds. Number 1, stay 5 to 7 feet from the fielder receiving the throw, starting at point of plate. Secondly, move with the fielder. Stay on that plate side hip or that base side hip to stay in the window, keeping your head and eyes in between the fielder and the tag attempt. Great job there with the game-scoring play on a walk-off here on opening day 2021. So great look at that example here and a nicely done job here by Kerwin Danley. This one also went to replay, obviously, because it's a scoring play end of game, and it was confirmed. So nice job there overall. All right. Well, that was kind of our substitute for 3 up, 3 down for those of you guys that had some withdrawals over it. We obviously just came out of a segment on rule study on interference. It was a 6-week study on everything and anything you can think about. Took a week off here for Easter. I got you this little appetizer here that we'll go ahead and push out to kind of hold you over, I guess. And then we'll be back next week on Friday, April the 9th. Friday, April the 9th at 12:30 p.m. Eastern as normal for 3 up, 3 down. Real excited about our next step in this whole process, and that'll be obstruction. So it'll tie nicely into interference and things like that here coming up to us next Friday. Again, that's April the 9th at 12:30 Eastern. I'd love to have everybody join in if your schedules go ahead and allow. We'll talk about obstruction, specifically it plays at the plate. So we'll even talk probably some more wedge and even kind of throw in some of those steps here even more so again. Everybody enjoy your Easter weekend, and we look forward to seeing everybody then live with us back again next Friday, April the 9th at 12:30 p.m. Eastern for obstruction on 3 up, 3 down. Have a good one, everyone.